get my 6. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid. Yep, I see it. Keep your eyes on it. See if it walks away. So, I have a story for you today that I think is absolutely hilarious. Mostly because it's true. I remember this story because I saw the guy today that the story revolves around. It's so ironic, and it's humid as can be. You can see it's overcast right now, but it's really muggy, and I'm under the canopy of the forest here. Holds that humidity in. So, before I tell the story, I've got good news. People have been asking about the bees, the potential poisoning situation, all that. Check this out. Here's the wonderful news in light of our mysterious poison of the pollinators attack there a couple of weeks ago. Lots of good news. As you can see here on this beautiful budding thistle, we have a plethora of multiple types of butterflies pollinating. Some beautiful bumblebees. A big one. There's one of our honeybees flying around. Our honeybee colony survived. We still had the queen. New brood is hatching. So it's still potentially a mystery what happened. But gosh, I could just stand here forever and just watch these beautiful little creatures in the thistle. The only thing that compares to this is when the thistle goes to seed, we have thousands of American goldfinches that come in and eat the seed. This is such a beautiful place right here. Brown chicken cow wow. Okay, so that's good news, isn't it? And I've actually transferred my honeybees back into one of their hive boxes out of the original nuke. I cleaned them out to get any sort of infestation, or infection, rather, that was in there. Any contamination, that's the word I'm looking for. All these big words. I was down at the university today, so I just feel like I got to say all these big words. But here's the story. I saw this guy today, and I remembered the story. I remembered the situation. It's a story that... It's a period of about a 20-year period, but I can tell the story in just a few minutes, potentially. But I saw him today, and I remembered the story, and so I started laughing so hard, and I thought, I got to tell that. I just ripped a little branch off a tree. See if this is big enough to do a tree knock. We'll call that a tree tap. So I have a high respect for people who work, and I don't care what kind of work they do. You know, if you're a taxi cab driver or a custodian, whatever, every job is important. And if you're out there working 40 hours a week or plus, I don't care if you're not a doctor or a lawyer. I will respect you to the same degree that I do respect a doctor and a lawyer who works if you work. The older that I've gotten, the more respect for working people I have. I think because I've worked and I know what it entails, a lot of the work I do is kind of more cranial and creative, and it's a whole different beast than traditional work. And I have a lot of friends who have traditional jobs, and they tell me, gosh, I'd hate to do what you do because, gosh, there's just no security, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I know it sucks talking to my camera 25 minutes a day and hang out with my wife and kid the rest of the time. No, there's more to it than that, especially you know how much I write. And speaking of that, I'm going to have a very big surprise, very big, heavy surprise for all of you within about 48 hours in regard to Bigfoot Sasquatch files. So stay excited about that. And also, as I've aged and as I've gotten older, I've seen so many able-bodied, fully capable people, many of whom have advanced degrees, who do nothing and who depend on others to get by, and that's always makes me throw up a little bit in my mouth. So, I live, in the Charlottesville area, And this isn't my first time living here. I moved here in 1999, shortly after I graduated from college in Appalachia. And I spent 8 years here. And then I left for 6 years, I think. And then I came back, and I've been back for about 6 years. It's my adopted hometown. I love it. You know, none of us can choose where we grow up because we're kids, and that's either where we're born or where we're taken. But when we grow up and we get around, see a few places, we actually can make the choice of what we want to call home. And Charlottesville is home for me. And it is for dearly. We have two adopted hometowns, Charlottesville, Virginia, and Davao City, Philippines. Those are our two adopted hometowns. So when I lived here the first time, I remember seeing this guy. I was in the grocery store one morning, and he was bagging my groceries. He's about my age. Now he would be mid to late 40s. So this was like 20 years ago. We would have been mid to late 20s. Very friendly guy. He's noticeable because he's not a very tall guy. He's about 5 feet, 2 inches tall. Pleasant, always pleasant. I always enjoyed seeing him when he was there bagging groceries. And then I remember about a week later, I was in a department store in the afternoon or maybe early evening, and I saw him in there stocking shelves, and I thought, wow, there's that guy that, works at the grocery store too. This guy's got two jobs. He's working over there in the mornings. He's coming over here working late afternoons, early evenings. It's amazing. It's incredible. But I didn't say anything. Like, if I notice people like this today, I'll often go out of my way just to say a kind word to them, because I know, especially when you work with the general public, and we've had these talks here before, and a lot of you folks have shared in the comments, many of you, one lady in particular, I think she said she worked at Walmart for 20 plus years and talked about just what you have to put up with when you're just out there doing your job. And so I've seen it. So many people can be rude, and it's disgusting. So, and this guy's putting up with it at two places back in the day, 20 some years ago. But I hadn't developed this respect as strong as it is now for people that work. So I never said anything. And then I remember shortly after that, there was a period where I went out on a weekend. I went to Walmart. I think it was Walmart, a big box store. I'll say a big box store, bigger than that department store that I'd seen this guy in before. Well, sure enough, this guy was working in that box store, and I thought, oh my goodness. So he works at the grocery store in the mornings. He pulls afternoon hours at this one department store. Then he's working here on the weekends at Walmart. This guy's amazing. I was thinking the whole time, I'm imagining these jobs probably don't pay as well as many other jobs. So maybe he had to have multiple employers to make the money he needed to take care of himself or his family if he had a family. And I just thought, man, this is very respect worthy. Well, another period of time goes by, and I'm out eating at a restaurant. And as I'm on my way out, I glance back, because I'm in the habit of saying thank you to people as I'm leaving. And I glance back and I see through the kitchen, dude's back there washing dishes, right? Same guy. And I'm like, I cannot believe this. He bags groceries in the mornings. And guys, this is a true story. This is a real person. Bags groceries in the mornings, works in a department store in the afternoon, pulls weekend shifts at Walmart, and works nights in a restaurant. Wow. And there's people out there who come up with all these reasons and excuses why they can't work and all this stuff, or why they're underemployed or whatever. Not this guy. I remembered that guy so much that when I spent time overseas and I would talk to people, and then when I would come back, and not just the folks who were the locals where I visited in these other countries, but just as I would make friends from many other countries, often in different countries that they weren't from either, we would be talking about work ethic and work and all this stuff. And I would bring this guy up. He was that amazing. So fast forward all these years later, and, I came back to the Charlottesville area here about 5 years back. And I was at one of those four places. I think it was the box store, and I don't think it was Walmart, but maybe Lowe's, something like that. But I saw the guy again, and I thought, oh my gosh, this man is amazing. He's still here after all these years. I wonder if he's at those other places. Well, sure enough, I saw him at two different places, not the same places I'd seen him when I'd lived here the first time, but places different than this box store. So the third time I saw him, I approached him because, you know, I'd been back in the U.S. by some time, and I'd, you know, run into some people, well, you know, the hay collector and others who just don't work, you know, mooch off of others or whatever. And I thought, here's this guy, 20 years later, this has got to be killing him, but he's still out here doing it because he's got dignity, he's got self-respect, he's got pride, he's not, you know, looking to, you know, have someone else take care of him. So I approached him and I said, I just want to let you know how much respect I have for you. And he said, why is that? And I said, because, and I told him the quicker version of the story I just told you. I said, all these years you've been working 4 jobs, and I know people that won't go out and do squat. You're just an amazing person, and I wanted you to know that I appreciate you. This guy, it's a true story. He started laughing so hard, he almost peed his pants. And you're probably going to laugh so hard you almost pee your pants too. So you might want to start making your way toward the bathroom right now as I tell you what he told me next. He said, oh my God, don't worry, you're not the only person that's ever said something like that to us. And I'm like, us? And I'm starting to think, dude's crazy, right? And he told me, he said, I'm a quadruplet. I was like, what? He said, yeah. He says, I have 3 brothers that look exactly like me. And we're still here in town, we all work around town, and we all hear this all the time. True story. Let us know if you saw anything in the background. Timestamp it. And na 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 na. Oh, hey hey na na na. Why don't you get a job? Not sponsored.